Hi, this is Christopher from IHEARTHU.com, and in this video I'm going to show you how to properly play the Hunter Aggro Rushdown deck. So, in the opening hand, you're basically looking for your low-costing minions, such as Leper Gnome and Bluegill Warrior, and you're also trying to find your Eagle Horn Bow. In this video, I got two Leper Gnomes, and I have the Ironbeak Owl, which is good for getting taunts out of the way, and I know Shamans tend to have quite a lot of taunt creatures, so I kept it. And the proper way to play this deck is to pretty much just go entirely for their face. Even if like a good minion trade presents itself, unless they're threatening your life totals, you almost always want to just send everything at their face, because you need to kill them as fast as possible. A lot of the time, you'll want to prefer using your passive ability to deal 2 damage to them instead of playing like a Bluegill Warrior, for example. And spending 2 mana on the passive I think is better than using the 1 mana and wasting the other mana when you play the Leper Gnome there. So on the turn 3, you can just use the passive and the Leper Gnome. Using your passive pretty much every turn is really good with this deck because it helps extend how long your hand remains full for. Say if you have Leroy Jenkins in your hand, that means you have 4 mana accounted for in the future. And because everything in this deck is such low costing, you can afford to spam your passive more and you'll be able to empty your hand quite easily later on. And you'll see here, I thought about attacking the minion with my Leper Gnome, and it might have been a good trade to do that because I would have destroyed his minion and dealt 2 damage to his face. But I thought for a second that with this deck, I reminded myself you always want to hit them in the face to kill them as fast as possible. Keeping in mind also that Shamans have a really hard time staying alive against burn because they don't have any reliable ways to heal themselves. So in this video, you'll see me play out the rest of the game, and just keep in mind the emphasis on going for their face. Let him do the minion trading for you. You send your charged minions at his face, and he'll send his minions at your minions to trade. So you don't actually have to hit his guys. He's so worried about his health that he's going to trade his minions into yours anyways, regardless of if you do it. So if you put your minions into his minions, you're going to be doing his job for him, and you don't want to do that with this deck. So to have best success, throw everything at his face and save your Ironbeak Owls and your Hunter's Marks for their taunt minions, and anything that will prevent you from dealing the maximum amount of damage in the shortest amount of time. Now in this part of the game, you'll notice I have a pretty awkward hand because I didn't actually draw into any minions that I really want to play, because I'm saving Leroy as a finisher and I'm saving Timberwolf for a combo off of the Starving Buzzard. So the 2 plays I see myself making here is either I go for the misdirect or I just play Leroy. With him sitting at 10 health, it's pretty reasonable to think that I can draw into something that will help me end the game. And in all likelihood, he'll end up trading the 1/1 back into Leroy anyway. So it basically just counted as a fireball there. Him having those 2 Earthen Ring Farseers really helped him against my deck because he healed for 6. If he didn't have those, he'd be sitting at 7 health right now, which is a lot easier to kill than 13. And luckily I drew the Starving Buzzard, and I have a couple beasts to play. So I'm going to try to draw into something that deals a lot of damage. And right now I'm debating whether I should play the Ironbeak Owl for the draw or save it for a taunt. And I'm think I'm saying to myself that because my HP is starting to get low and he has a lot of creatures on board, I need to draw something to end the game fast, and I can't rely on saving it for a taunt. So if you get lightning stormed and it clears all your creatures with this deck, it's not actually as bad as it is with other decks, because in this deck, you pretty much want to consider all of your minions, at least the charge minions, as spells. Like, for example, Bluegill Warrior is a 2 damage spell that just happens to leave behind a 2/1 body. Wolf Rider similarly is a 3 damage spell that happens to leave behind a 3/1 body. That's the way you want to look at your minions in this deck. The goal overall is to have a deck that can produce so much damage that they can't possibly stay alive with only 30 health. And that's what this deck tries to abuse. You see, I drew the Unleash the Hounds the turn after using the Buzzard and the Timberwolf. But it's still good this turn because he has so many creatures out. So I should be able to get some good damage in. Another good utility of Unleash the Hounds and Hunter's Mark is that you can remove creatures with it, with one of the hounds. Basically, he's in the position where he has to either kill me this turn, or he should remove my minions instead. Ouch, and you'll see he ate his own creature's damage from the misdirection. He probably should have tried to trigger that before lightning storming, because then there would have been a chance that his creature would have hit one of my minions instead of hitting his own face, because you'll see it ended up costing him the game. Anyways, try out this deck, see how it does for you.